Presuppositions, part of the distortion section of the NLP meta model. This is NLP and language. Presuppositions are unstated assumptions. I think they're very interesting and can be enormously manipulative in the way that they're used. So really, the point is in the statement that comes in the first part of the sentence, and the second part of the sentence just supports that statement. I'm going to illustrate that with a number of examples so that you see what I mean. A statement like, for example, "You are as selfish as your father," is interesting. You are as selfish as your father. It's kind of upsetting, confusing, disorienting. But the point is you're selfish and your father is selfish. That's the point. But of course, it's not said directly. Presuppositions like this are also very common. Will you be bringing that up at the meeting next week? Will you be bringing that up at the meeting next week? In that situation, I would imagine I haven't said that I'm going to the meeting next week, but there has been an assumption that I'm going to the meeting next week, and I have been asked whether I will be bringing that subject up. So I hope you're just starting to get the idea that these are really tricky wordplay things. This is also where the sort of traditional salesman's alternative close comes from. Would you like to meet me today or tomorrow? Would you like to meet me today or tomorrow? How do you get out of that? I don't want to meet you. It's hard to say it, isn't it? I don't want to meet you. What makes you think I want to meet you? It's hard to say, yet somehow we have to find a way of extricating ourselves from these kind of statements. Sometimes the point is made very deliberately in the presupposition. For example, especially with young women who might want a young man to know that they already have a boyfriend, what they might do is pick on any part of the conversation that's happening. Let's say there's a little hint in the conversation that mentions Leicester. Then the young woman might say something like, "Oh, my boyfriend comes from Leicester." Now, what she's really saying is, I have a boyfriend. Do you know that I have a boyfriend? I'd like to let you know that. But it's tagged along at the beginning of something so that it seems to just fit in with the conversation. This is very much beloved of media interviewers, especially those who interview football managers after football matches. So, how disappointed are you that you lost? How angry are you that you missed that final penalty? So there's no possibility being allowed for actually I'm not angry or actually I'm not disappointed. And the only way to really get through that seems to be to sort of sidestep that trap completely and change the subject, raise the bar, or talk about something else. Okay. So it's unstated assumption. When are you leaving? What makes you think I'm leaving? Are you going to be late again? That's what my parents used to say to me. Are you going to be late again? My mum was wonderful at presupposition, absolutely great. Are you going to be late again? And the implication is that the reality stated in the first part of the sentence is shared by everybody. Everybody knows that you're a late person. Are you doing it again? But then I think possibly my absolutely favourite one, and this is quite famous from the old dramas of the 60s, courtroom dramas of the 60s. This is where the prosecutor says to the man in the dock, "When did you stop beating your wife?" That's a famous one that you've probably heard. When did you stop beating your wife? And of course, the only way out of that really would be for the man to say, well, cricket, I think she won. Monopoly, I think I beat her at that. And I can't quite remember the last card game that we played. Maybe it was fairly equal. Thanks for listening. My next video is on the subject of nominalizations. Hope to see you there.